Week 3 of Dancing on Ice this Sunday, and it's the first time we see the boys and girls compete against each other. Of course, one of the 12 couples has to go, so that's not good news, but Heather Mills is competing for the second time this weekend, but with broken ribs, shifted pelvis, an injured shoulder, and not to mention, of course, the fact that she's got a prosthetic leg in the first place, so you wouldn't blame her wanting to give it a miss. But we're going to talk to her now, Anna Pan and Matt Evers. Good grief, it sounds like you've really been in the wars. Are you all right, Heather?
Oh, I'm fine. My lungs are still working, and Matt's helping me out a lot, so I'm great, absolutely great.
So no danger.
Can I just say quickly?
Sorry. Yes.
Can I just say quickly that can anyone contact heathermills.org to donate second-hand limbs, wheelchairs and crutches, because we're taking tons of them out to Haiti for our recycling limb campaign, because we've got thousands and thousands of amputees. So I had to quickly get that in because that's really, really important.
Of course it's important. I'll tell you what, we'll put that on our website as well, so if people didn't hear, and we'll repeat it a bit later on. Yeah, no, that sounds like a very worthy thing. Look, we know you're plucky, Heather, because we saw you competing in Dancing with the Stars in 2007, was it, over in the US?
Yes.
How does this, well, I mean, Andrew and I were rubbish at the British version of that, so we know how hard that was. How does this compare?
It's about 20 billion times harder, so unless you're willing to really put in hours and hours and hours of training, way beyond anything like the dance show, it is the hardest thing, because it doesn't matter how great your upper body is, if you push your arms back 1 inch too far and you're not stable on your legs like Matt and the professionals, you go flying that way, and if you do it too much, you fly in that way, and that's why, you know, like you said, people get injured, and it's just no comparison, because, you know, if I'm on a solid floor, I can move my hips, but here I'm like, oh, oh, oh. So it's much harder.
Very different, absolutely.
Yeah. And Matt, you've had Bonnie Langford, Lisa Scott Lee, you've had Zoe Salmon, you won it with Suzanne Shaw. How's this client?
This climb is absolutely inspirational. I had no idea what I was up against coming into this, this series, and skating with an amputee, which has never been done before, like this, is, she's given 125% and puts in just as much time as anybody else, and has never said no or I can't. So it's been really inspiring.
We're just watching you being spun around there. I mean, you look amazing as a pair. You're doing brilliantly, but I imagine there's got to be different challenges if you are working with a prosthetic leg. What are the problems for you, Heather?
Well, what's been great is every time Matt asks me to do something, I say, okay, do it like you can't move your ankle and you can't move your feet like you do with your own feet, and keep your legs straight. And if he manages to do that, then I'll say, right, let's do that, let's try that. So I'll try absolutely everything. I might not do it very well, but I'll try it. And yeah, it's hard, especially when you've got to lift your leg up in that spiral arabesque thing, and you're picking up kilos of weight. It's like strapping weight. So it kills your bum, but it gives you some good solid steel buns.
We're sort of reinventing the wheel with, Jane, Chris, Karen, myself, and Mark, our other coach. This is, like I said, it's never been done before, and we had no idea what to expect and how much, she can achieve. So I think right now the sky's the limit, because so far, fingers crossed, she's been able to do everything.
Fantastic.
Yeah, my leg hasn't swollen up for Chris to do a solo routine. He still ignores me when I say, well, what about on one leg if it swells up? And he goes, yeah, right. He still won't do it.
And you have to keep the same weight, don't you, to ensure that everything still works. You can't put on weight.
I do.
Yeah, that must be tough.
I think a lot of people don't understand that when you put on weight and fluid, your leg swells up, so you can't get your leg on, and when you lose it, it's like a piston action, so you blister and bleed. So some days you walk great, you skate great. Other days, if I have too many muffins from my cafe, it's like I can't get my leg in as much. So I've really had to eat really healthily and stay the same. I've got to get a new socket fit in by Sunday, because it's already loose, because the muscle tissue after the revision amputation is pressed down. So we're going to have to, if we continue to do well, we're going to have to keep getting socket changes.
Normally we just deal with blisters and aches and pains, but now we're having to deal with additional artificial legs.
Leg changes.
I mean, it's a huge admiration to you. It's amazing what you're doing. And give us a taste of it, because I know we're going to talk to you a bit later on as well. You're going to carry on training for us. We'll come back and chat to you later. But what can we expect then on Sunday night? What have you got for us this week?
Oh, lots of tricks and technical. I don't know what's happened to Jane and Chris, but they've suddenly gone to level 8 on show 2, and they're getting so excited about everybody, and everyone's got these amazing routines. So I'm getting sort of thrown everywhere. There's loads of technical skating. There's there's a few moments where I'm in control of Matt, which is kind of really weird because I've got to do this thing where I go through his legs and on an angle, and if I don't, he goes flying in the audience. So I wouldn't want to do a Todd chucking him down the tunnel.
Can't wait. I'm sure it'll be brilliant. And we're going to chat to you, as I say, a bit later on. So you can go and have a bit of practice now. Or maybe just have a rest. I don't know. Whatever you fancy. All right. See you in a bit.
Great.
Let's say good morning to them. They've been on the ice rehearsing this morning. Good morning, Heather and Matt. Listen, morning. Before we get into Dancing on Ice, which I know everyone's interested in, lots of people have called in and viewers are really interested in what you were saying earlier about helping the victims of the Haiti earthquake. Tell us what you're doing about that.
Well, about in 1994, when we started collecting recycled limbs, we did an appeal on GMTV 17 years ago, and we fitted up 27,000 people with recycled artificial limbs in devastated war-torn countries till we could teach them how to make up their own. So what we're doing now with the thousands of amputees coming through with this devastation is appealing to everyone with spare arms and legs in the cupboard, as we did then, and wheelchairs and crutches, to just go on to GMTV website and look at the link and leave their information and details so we can send them the name of the local clinic where they could drop their limbs off. And we can basically get them over to the Physicians for Peace, which is, we're setting up a prosthetic system service, which we've done many times before. And it's really desperately needed because the clinic in Haiti has been completely devastated, so we've got to start from scratch again with new ovens. So any kind of old hospital equipment, anything that anybody has, we'd love to hear from them.
OK, well, that's great news. Already people have got in contact because I think everybody feels they want to help those out there. And it's just great if you have that specific ability to help those specific people. That's really brilliant. We'll put the details of it on our website as well, Heather. But on to Dancing on Ice, which, of course, I know is what you're here to talk about. You've had all these injuries. How's training been going this week?
Training's been, what do you think, all right?
Training's been great so far, yeah. Working really, really hard. And, yeah, fingers crossed for Sunday.
We've everyone keeps saying we've had a week longer, but they forget to mention that the guys had a week longer last week. So we have had a few days longer than the guys this week, so hopefully we'll get up to their standard.
Just the way the show is programmed out, you know, the girls went first and then the guys were last week, so it all evens out in the end.
Of course it does, and you're doing great. And now you had a great reaction in that first bit, didn't you, from the judges? What was it like to get that kind of thumbs up?
I couldn't believe it. I mean, to get 4 from Nikki, which was the same as Hayley, who's so much better than me, I was really, really pleased, and just so pleased that the public voted and I wasn't in the bottom 2. Because each week we're in, we get a bit more money for charity, so I'm really hoping the public stays on our side. But not if they think I'm rubbish. I think if I'm rubbish, I should just get kicked out.
Yeah, well, I mean, about that public vote, because of course it's half judges, half people voting at home. What did that mean to you to get that public vote? Because of all that you've been through and the negativity that you've had around you, the bad press that I know you've talked about on this show before that you feel that you've always had. What does it mean to go back into a show like this and put yourself, in a sense, at the mercy of the public?
Well, we were in a situation where our charity was virtually destroyed by all of that. You know, we were the largest landmine clearing prosthetic charity in the world, and it got completely destroyed. And, you know, I can only fund it, you know, so far with all our other charity commitments. So I had to get out and say, OK, let's see how this goes. The public had always been fantastically supportive on email and letter to me. And to see that I wasn't in the bottom 2 was like, yes.
I bet it was.
It's that sort of David versus Goliath thing, and it was like, you know, people really do want to make a difference, and it's not all about celebrity BS. So, so that really renewed my faith in the public. It was great, and I really appreciate all their support.
And I'm guessing with some of the headlines you've had, you're not going to worry too much what Jason Gardner says to you.
No.
Oh my goodness, come on! I mean, it would just be hilarious. He actually was really constructively critical to me, and I've got a few one-liners to come back if he steps over the line, so we shall see.
But we have taken on board what he said and really worked on, you know, all the transitions and to make the routine look very seamless this week. So
And what is
I'm
your
glad he
daughter?
thinks so.
And what does little Beatrice think of all this? I know what I was doing. What does she think?
She comes along, but I keep her off camera because I like to keep her life private for her, and she decides what she does when she's older, but she's always on the side. But she shouts really loud, so she goes, "He's a horrible man," and she does this impersonation of him, and she says, "He wants everything to be perfect, and if it's not perfect, then it's not good." So she does that all the time, every week. So thank goodness we keep her on the other side of the ice, otherwise she'd be diving
She's
on
got an
Jason.
opinion. She's got an opinion, Heather. Where does she get that from, you say?
I don't know. It's scary. It's really scary.
Lovely.
Listen, guys, good luck.
Yeah,
We'll be
good
watching
luck.
on Sunday night. Good luck to everybody, we
you.
should say, particularly our Hillary. You know,
And we'll look forward to you trying this next year, guys.
I don't think
Now
so.
you've
You
got your
want to
dance
see?
experience. Now you can get on the ice.
Depends how employed we are.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself, Heather. All the best, Matt. See you.
Can I just
Take
say
care.
he said that, not me?
I know.